Welcome back to 365 Unlimited. We are back with another interview this week. Before we go back to school again, it'll be taking off this Saturday to head back to college. I'm still hanging around for another couple weeks. But before we dive into any interview stuff, check out our sponsors, Driftless Quality Wear, Bocker Auto Group, and Not Vintage. As you can tell, that is KNOT Vintage, and we are both
right here.
representing the graphic tees that we just got in this week. Yeah, go look at their website. Everything is in our bio. You can check them out for us. Support. There's a 10% discount code at the checkout, which is 365U for 10% off. That's store wide. So any purchase that you have, you'll get 10% off. They got some fire graphic tees. Don't want to miss out. That's for sure. But yeah, we got another interview going. We got Jimmy Trilla in the building with us.
Yes, sir.
Excited to sit down, chop it up with him, learn about his story, and we're gonna inspire the youth together again. Let's take this one away.
Yeah, man. First thing we always do, introduce yourself. Tell our viewers kind of who you are, where you're from, background a little bit. Not too much, but give a little some.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Jimmy Trilla, class of 23. I'm a wide receiver. Play down here in Dallas, Texas. I'm originally from the Chicagoland area. Just moved down to Dallas 2 years ago. Mainly for football, better opportunities, and try to spread my name and spread a positive image of myself into the next generations.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir. That's exactly what it's about. Spreading that positive influence around.
I'm from Chicago area. But I've always had a dream and a image to play down here in Dallas. So we finally had the chance 2 summers ago. A small window opened up, so we took it. It worked out. So I moved down here and got around a lot of pro guys, and they showed a lot of love to me, and so it played an amazing impact on me and what I want to do further on my life. So.
Okay. Oh man, that was a life-changing thing. Kind of before we dive into all this Dallas and the pro stuff and all the kind of what was some of Chicagoland area? Where'd you grow up? What was the high school you attended? Just familiar, just kind of.
For sure. I was born in the heart of Chicago.
Yeah.
I grew up for some time in the north side, Jefferson Park, and then we moved out to the suburbs. We lived with my grandmother in Hinsdale, so I went to Hinsdale Central High School. And then, we just worked out everywhere. I worked out in the city, stayed out there sometimes. And then, I was going everywhere to train, and
Yeah, I didn't mean to miss that. You saying you're from Chicago, because I saw it in your bio, and I wanted to make sure that that's what it was, Chicago to Dallas, Texas. And that's actually, it's funny because Gannon and I are both near the Chicago area. That's where we've grown up. Probably about like an hour 30.
Yeah, the Rockford, Illinois area. I don't know if you heard of that. Yeah, that's right. I'll see.
So we've grown up around there, and it's funny. It's a small world. I mean, going out to Dallas, Texas. Gannon and we actually have taken 2 trips out to Texas this past couple months. But what was it like getting out of the cold and finally going down somewhere warm?
Well, like for me, it was a huge change because I didn't grow up with a lot of people around me to support my dreams, and obviously I had my mother and my grandmother, but from a friend standpoint, it wasn't like I didn't have a lot of close friends that really believed in me. So finally moving out and getting away from any negative energy and toxic people, and now being surrounded by people who really truly love what I do and take the football as a job as much as I do, it just changed my life. So
huge. I mean, that had to. Oh yeah, my bad. I mean, cut you off, but that had to be fitting moving from Chicago down to Dallas area for that high school football, because that's what it is. So just kind of give to the basic. I mean, even us. We've seen it. We've seen a lot of it on social media, but we've never experienced it. A lot of our viewers and listeners never. Just kind of give a little rundown on what Texas high school football is. I mean, it's nuts.
I mean, it's crazy, and so like everyone, it's just no matter what school you're at, it's just a huge community. Just building a big wall behind you, and I went to 2 high schools down here, Highland Park and WT White, and at both schools is WT White. I mean, they just have a large booster club, and then that just brings everyone together. And Highland Park, it's just a huge community themselves, and so they grown up together. So that's just built in. And so it was really cool to experience. Everybody is so like deep diving into high school football.
Yeah.
Up north is only about the Chicago Bears, or the fighting, what is it, Illini? I don't know.
Yeah.
But but like when you have a huge community and almost the whole city just, into the high school football, it's crazy. It's a great feeling.
No, I bet it is. And I mean, we've always grown up like you hear Texas football is different. Everything's bigger down in Texas. So like, I guess my question now is, so like from moving from Chicago to Texas, what was that like just in the sense of like smaller area football to like you talk about the Booster Club being more involved in Texas.
It's college football.
Yeah, it's college football in a sense. It's preparing you for the next level more. So, so what was that like kind of taking a smaller atmosphere to a bigger atmosphere? Did you feel like you were always built for that, or was it a period of adjustment?
I mean, I feel like my work set that I've done up north, it really helped me because as soon as I came down, I started popping off immediately. And so when I got into high school, when I finally got into, September, October, it was like my name was really out there. And so everyone was really back behind me and really supporting me immediately. And then as soon as I transferred to W2 White, same thing. They just knew my name, and it's like it was a great feeling because I felt just the strength and everyone behind my back, supporting me and really looking at me to help take W2 White somewhere in the playoffs and farther in there.
You said the two high schools that you attended down there in the Dallas area, was there a similarity between the two, like facilities and all that? Was there a big difference that kind of attracted you to go to WT White, or was there similar with the Texas high school? I'm just curious more so on my end, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for me, I came down to HP because like I said, I had a small window, and so HP was the only school I really knew about.
Yeah.
So I grew up, watching, all when it was under the radar highlights, and HP was always on there. So I wanted to go to HP, and so when I saw my small window, the first school I thought it was HP, and so when I got down here, I fell in love with it. The stadium is huge, nice indoors. The coaches were really really nice, and then but some financial issues came through, and so I had to move out of HP. But
so when you
was my second on my list.
Okay, so when you started football, because I guess this is more so like a two-part question. How long have you been playing ball? Like when do you feel like you first picked up a football in the course of like junior high and stuff like that?
So I picked up football probably when I was 4 years old, and so I immediately fell in love with it. My mom was kind of hesitant to let me play, but when I grew up and probably I want to say it was my grandma's house, I started watching Dez. He was at Oklahoma State, and then when he got drafted to the Cowboys, it was crazy because I wanted to play in Dallas, and now he's playing in Dallas. It was kind of just a perfect match, and so just watching him every weekend, every Thursday, after school, and just imitating the same catches in the living room, it was just crazy. But I started playing probably fifth grade, so ever since then, I had to pick it up. I just had to. Watching Dez, DeMarco Murray, Tony Romo, I just fell in love with it. So
for sure, yeah. So that was kind of my part B question was like, I guess influences growing up, like outside of maybe DeMarco and Dez, who are some players that you often tried to imitate, or even just came home from school and just started breaking down some film, and you said there's a part of that person's game that I can take and elevate mine.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely say Michael Jordan, not even from a football standpoint, but Michael Jordan was just watching his film even before getting on the bus on my little iPod or something, just watching the way he just shifted somebody and moved somebody. And then Matt Forte was another one. Walter Payton, the great, just the way he was able to so effortlessly just move past somebody. It was just something I knew I wanted to do.
Man, yeah, that's kind of talk about, like you said, that early with football. Did you kind of always know it was football, or were you kind of trying out some other sports before you really, locked in on this as your way?
Sure. Like I said, my mom was kind of hesitant to let me play football. So I played a little bit of baseball from first to third grade. And then for football, I don't know what it was. It was just something different. I think it was just all those guys that I was watching before I got on the bus or at school. And I just had to play. So I just fell in love with it. And, she finally went playing and just took off from there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So kind of to build off of your influences and stuff like that, we've obviously – everyone that follows you on IG, which we'll put that in the description below on the video, but you've been training with some people. So especially being down in the Texas area, you're going to find some players that you're going to be able to train with, chop it up with, get to know. So talk on that a little bit. Who have you had the opportunity to train with, and how do you feel like it's helped you?
Man, it's crazy. Obviously Dez. We just started talking to Terrence Williams a few months ago. He's, we share similar life experiences, so he's been a huge part. But my guy, Laquan Treadwell and Lance Lenore, they've been huge parts in my life since I moved down here. And so them coming from Chicagoland area, they just taking me in with full open arms. And so, they've really helped guiding me and shape me from on and off the field, mentally. And so they've just been a huge part. But I've had my connections with other trainers, Receiver Factory down in Florida, Del Fonte, Diamond down in Houston. And so I've trained with some of them and their guys, and it's just crazy. It's crazy the way, like, I'm looking at, say Stephon Diggs and seeing the way he works. He'll have a fun time, but really, when you deep down into it, it's business.
You locked in, yep.
So it's cool to be around them.
Kind of talk about just how they came about with Dez and that connection, just being in the Dallas area, and just because it had to be, I don't know, maybe kind of pretty quick come about just when you're moving down here in this last couple of years. Just talk on that, because it seems like you guys got a cool relationship and just done a lot of stuff and worked out, and it looks cool, some of the footage we've seen.
Yeah, and so my guy Quay Davis, he was a 4-star down here in Dallas. He played for Skyline, so I remember I was probably in 8th grade, freshman year. I was seeing him posting clips of workouts and one-on-ones. And so when I came down here 2 summers ago, 2021, for some camps, so the OU camp, SMU camp, I texted Quay. I was like, Quay, like, how can I get some work with you guys in the one-on-ones? And so he sent to me to my guy Craig, who runs the 2 Live Late Night crew. So I started working out with them. I moved down really to, build off of them and, train with them. And so I remember, I think my second workout down here, we threw with Dez and Juju. So that was my first time ever meeting Dez. And so, I put a show on, and so he liked what I was doing. So we chopped it up after the workout. I got a photo and whatever. And so we just started working out together more and more. And so he just, we started a friendship.
That's what it's all about. I mean, you could tell from your personality, just even off the field, that, like, you're a go-getter in that sense, like, especially moving down to Texas and already hitting people up, trying to find ways to get better. I think that speaks a lot to your character, who you are as a person and as an athlete. But I was telling Gannon I have to ask this question. So I scrolling on your social media, trying to learn a little bit more about you before the interview. I happened to see the X tattoo on the calf. Talk a little bit about that. Like, what does that mean to you? And I mean, you say you watched Dez growing up. So what does the X mean to you?
So for me, it was a funny story. We were down in Austin because he hosted some one-on-ones. So we went down to Austin, and we were out after the one-on-ones. So we were talking, and he was like, "Look, JT, you get X, I'm gonna get the 10." I said, "All right, sounds good." And so, him being a role model for me growing up, and now my friend, it's really crazy because it's something I always imagined. Imagine being down in the AT&T Stadium and yelling Dez, and like him getting his attention. But now that we're friends, and he's helped me in a huge part mentally, giving me advice what to do on and off the field. I feel like what his story and the way when he says, like, I throw up the X, it represents something bigger than just football. And so I love that. And so it's like, the X just kind of ties into my life. And so it was just a part where, like, it ties in with me, and he's a good friend of mine now. I got to get it. So it's kind of funny, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not a lifestyle. It's just his motto. I mean, motto is really what it is, his daily stuff that he lives by, and we've got to see that on full display meeting. It's just one of those personalities, like, once you get to know him and have that conversation, it's like, whoa, like, it's just dope to see that, because you don't always know that with some of the famous guys and athletes that you run into. I mean, because there's some that aren't. I mean, that's just how people personalities are, but Dez, complete opposite. But I want to talk about you, Jimmy. When you're lined up out wide with the DB, what makes you different, man? What sets you apart? What gets you open?
My mindset. Immediately off the jump, the season was my first varsity season. I've dealt with some politics at my other schools, but it was my first chance to really, showcase what I had. In my senior year, I knew I had to do something. So every time a DB lined up in front of me, it was kind of like, I'm gonna win because I got it. I got to win. I gotta, get my name out there to college coaches, not even just for the highlights or anything. I got to get my name out there. And so it was just like, it just kind of built my own, my dog mentality. It's just like I gotta win. There's no other option. I gotta win. And so when a kid lined up in front of me, I knew I was gonna do something to him, And so talking with the other guys around me, in the league, and they've always told me, always have other options. And so I would walk up to the line with 5 other options of releases, what I'm gonna do at the top of the route, how I'm gonna attack him here and there, And so it's just my mind was never stopped running when I was on the field. It was always I gotta do what I gotta do. I knew what I had to do, and I did what I did. And so when I started making plays, it just rolled down the hill. It just kept going.
I like that. I like that mentality. It's funny you say that because that's pretty much identical to what our last interview said. Also a wide receiver, Tyler Holte. He played D3 football. It's funny because that's what it is as a wide receiver going up against a DB. You got to have a dog mentality, just like you can't beat me, I'm here. But outside of that, so say outside of mentality, obviously you need to have a quality set of route running abilities. So talk about your route running abilities, how you feel like you've worked on them over the course of growing up and getting more mature with footwork and just physical and mental abilities.
Sure. I mean, I feel like besides all the rankings and all the stats, I feel like I'm definitely one of the head 23 receivers, in the country. I stand by that. I work with some of the best. I've learned from some of the best and little details that no one's ever going to touch besides me. And so I feel like that's what really separates my game. And so, I've worked with some of the best trainers in the world. I mean, Receiver Factory, he's nobody compares to him. So it's like he sets that's what ties him in, is his ability to coach, but be a leader, and help build that mindset. And I think I'm one of his only high school kids that he's ever trained.
Mm-hmm.
He took me in with full open arms. And so me training with him, I just feel like I'm easily, just skills that no one else has. You can look at some of the top recruits in the country, they got speed, they got size, but do they have the little details like I have? And I feel like that's what really separates me. And I feel like that's what makes me untouchable from a defensive standpoint. I feel like there's so many things in my bag that I can pull out at any moment that a defense would, be just shook, and shocked. So I feel like that's what really separates me. It's just like the way he's taught me how to, put pieces together in certain situations. And so like myself, I'd be up in my high school in the snow, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches of snow on the ground. I clear it off with my foot, just clear off a little path and start chopping things up, trying to see if this would work in that type of coverage or this type of release on a soft man press. You know what I'm saying? Just, I've always been a big believer in little details, like little details, foot placement, shin angles, head angles, shoulder, just all of it, all around.
I like that. I like that.
So kind of going off some of that, with you graduating here coming up, being a current senior, I know you got to work out later today after this interview and stuff. What are some of the details right now that you're going through every day to just, continue the grind and get you ready for the next level? And kind of what does the next level kind of look like as you're shaping into that time here? It's big time coming up for you.
Sure. Right now for me, I'm in track season right now too.
Hell
so
yeah.
right now my main goal is to get faster, because I know as soon as I step on a college campus, they're gonna throw weight on me. So right now it's just speed right now. And just, really, like I said, little details on my routes, 3 steps out my comeback, 3 steps on my curl. How flat am I getting on the dig? How flat am I getting on my glance route? Just little details. And then, with the guys around me, they're picking up, they're throwing in situations at me. What if you have, a safety linebacker here and then the corner outside shade? You know what I'm saying? Just little detailed situations that make my mind run. So now when I get out onto the game field, I see it. Now I know what to do. So it's just them helping me with the game situation, and then me just building up my speed. That's what's really tying in.
For sure. Yeah, that's actually awesome. You touch on that, because being a multi-sport athlete,
that's huge. That's huge what he said. I mean, you don't hear that. I gotta get the speed down now because I'm going to get the weight on me in college. Like, just the thought process and all that, you're getting it.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
It's crucial, and we've kind of prided ourselves on that mantra in itself, just being a multi-sport athlete and just chasing your dream. Among other dreams too, because other sports will help you. It'll translate, and like you mentioned, it does. So you seem like a guy that can give great advice. So let's hear your best advice to the youth. Right now, there's a player in your shoes back in 5th, 6th grade, picking up a football, 5 years old right now. He just picked up a football and he started watching some highlights. What are you going to tell that kid?
you know, I probably tell them, it's gonna be moments where, you're gonna feel alone, moments where you're gonna feel like you don't got it, but you really just gotta keep your head down, keep working. Cause I feel like there's moments where, I've had my friends or people I thought were my friends tell me, oh, there's only a 0.5% chance you'll make it to the NFL. All right, well, I'm gonna be that 0.5. But there's been certain moments where I'm like, okay, am I gonna be that 0.5? But then you gotta throw it out the window. You gotta put your head down, chin down, keep pushing, because that's the only option you got. So I feel like there's definitely gonna be moments in your life where you're gonna be alone. You're gonna feel alone and feel, separated from the world. But that's a good thing, So I feel like just, don't ever second guess yourself. Just keep going.
No, that's great advice. And, living in the Midwest, down in the South, training at these different facilities across the country, this is I'm a big quote guy, inspiration, just maybe what's a couple things you've taken from somebody, maybe not even football or just life models that you've gotten from some of these guys and trainers and athletes, all these different areas, because they all have their own, remedies and what they think is going to be successful, which that you respect their grind and hustle. But what's something that you just, really take, obviously the X and all that, but just something you've heard or something along the way? I love that little stuff.
Yeah, my guy Lance Lenore, like I said, he's been a huge part for me coming out of the Chicagoland area. And so some situation happened with me and my football experience down here. And so he told me something that's really stuck with me is, if he said to me, like, Jim, I would have told him, walk in my shoes, go through what I've gone through, done what I've done, and then tell me you're not gonna want to talk some talk. Because I feel like in today's society with athletes, everyone expects, us to just be quiet and be, take their negativity and their negative words. And so I feel like some athletes just go through so much and to get where they're done and get where they're at. I feel like, they had to have a voice because that's what's keeping them going. And I feel like for me, from my standpoint, it's like what I've taken that from him, I've been discouraged by people on, TikTok or Instagram saying, just work in silence. You're doing too much. Like, no, I'm not doing too much. Because if you've gone through what I've gone through, done what I've done, you would show where you're at right now. And you talk your talk when you need to. I'm a big believer in, I don't like to talk about what I'm doing and what I'm gonna do. I just do it. But when people want to discourage me for what I've done and people want to talk bad at what I've done and what I'm gonna do, that's when I'll be like, I'll start breaking it up for them and I'll start talking my talk about it,
I like that. I like that a lot. That's crucial. I mean, little stuff like that, it takes your mindset a long way. You become kind of a manifester in a way, just like, I'm gonna do this because I know I can do it. You're definitely built for it. I mean, it's evident, like, just in talking to you. But let's switch it up for a sec. What type of teammate are you? What type of player are you under a coach? What can a coach kind of be prepared for in getting you as an athlete? And what can your teammates look forward to having?
I mean, this year I really got my chance to, be a leader. This is my first year on varsity, like I said, and I really helped, take my team to the playoffs. And so, I'm a big believer in leading by example. I'm not just going to tell you what to do. I'm going to do it first so that you know what to do. I love that. And so in the season, if I drop a pass, I'm going to say, nah, get it back. I'm going to get it back right now. I'm not going to take a break. I'm not going to let you get another rep before I get mine back. So I'm a big believer in, I lead by example. And that's my favorite thing is that, going to college, I got two D1, D2, high D2, low D1 schools, about to offer me. And so it's like, they're going to get a kid that's going to work hard. And when he messes up, he's going to get it back until he gets it right. And then even this season, like, I dropped a pass in practice. No, I dropped 3 in practice. I had a really bad practice, and so I was upset. I told my coach, my receiver coach, I was like, look, I need you to throw me 20 over-the-shoulder passes this side and this side, because I got to get that back. I can't let that be. I can't leave that on the field and let my other teammates think that's, acceptable. I got to lead by example. So that's what they're going to get out of me.
Switch it up again here. What's a little interesting fact about you off the field, a little football, take a break, you're chilling, hanging with some of the boys. What are you doing? What's your little kickback stuff?
I mean, I love some food. I'm always going to go out and get some food somewhere.
Especially in Dallas, you can't go wrong with the food down there, man.
Yeah. Jeez. Probably good, smoked steak maybe, or a nice little Italian restaurant somewhere. I know up in Frisco, they have some gorgeous restaurants I've been to. So, I'll take my boy there, maybe a lady there. Yeah.
For sure. So you talk about growing up watching DeMarco Murray, Dez Bryant. So I take it you're obviously a Cowboys fan. That's all right. All right, that's good to hear. So what are you expecting to happen with the Cowboys this year? I mean, we're one game away from the playoffs, so we're sitting either with a 5 seed, 2 seed, or 1 seed. But what are you expecting to happen in the playoffs this year?
I like what they're doing with the receivers now. They got Michael Gallup back. I like how they're throwing him the ball. They got him back in the play. So coming off an injury, that's always tough. But I like the way they're moving the guys around. C's coming in motion a lot this year. Really opens up Dak's eyes to defense. I feel like that's what his biggest thing is. I feel like he just needs to really read the defense before pre-snap.
Yeah.
Really get an idea where the ball's gonna go before he has the ball in his hands. So I feel like moving the guys around back and forth, keeping the defense on their toes, I feel like it's gonna be huge.
For sure.
Couple of those programs you're talking about with the offers coming up, what is something you're looking for somewhere you're going to invest in for the next 3 to 4 years coming up with your college outlook? It's an important decision, life decision. I know we've both been through it, and it's stressful and all that, but what's something that you're personally, when you're going through this process and all that, the coaching, the facilities, just the people, because all that matters, and I think that's more important than just sometimes just even the X and O's, the actual athletics part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For me, my guy, Coach Atkinson, he recruited me from Midwestern State. So I just got an offer from them. They're going FCS sometime soon, but so that's pretty huge for me. But I want to coach like my trainer, like B White. Like I said, really cool, laid back guy. But when it comes to business, it's business. And so for me, I just love that. I love a guy that can understand the game from my point of view, rather than just do this, do that, do that. Obviously, I'll do it. Obviously, I'll do it from a coaching standpoint. But it's like, that's what was really tying me together with certain schools, is the connection that we can build from the game, just the breaking up film. What are you gonna do in this situation when you're there? I feel like a guy that can see both worlds as an athlete and a coach is what I'm really looking for right now. Especially as being as late as I am in my recruitment. It's huge for me. It's just a guy that can understand where we're on the same game page.
I like that. I mean, I think Gannon and I's best advice to you, just being older in a sense, when it comes to college, and making a decision, like just take it wherever you feel like you're at home, man. Like you're visiting or you're talking with coaches. I mean, it could be a high Division I team, but you could find a D2 team that it clicks. It clicks. So
Sure.
no matter what you find, like just make sure you feel at home, because I know that'll help your mentals immensely, and you'll feel good about it. I promise you that. But I know you'll make the best decision for yourself, and I definitely think it'll carry into your career. But we ask this question kind of to every person we have on here, no matter if they're athlete, coach, just a human being that does business, like it don't matter. We ask this question just to better ourselves in a way as well, just learning from people that we get to share their story. What is your best advice to us? We're doing a podcast. Obviously, we've worked with Dez a little, gotten to know him, but what's your best advice to us to keep carrying on and pushing in life?
I say, like what you guys texted me about last night, looking to build connections. I feel like it's gonna be huge, just asking people to help, grow yourselves, and it's just a circle you gotta do. It's just look, I just asking for a little bit of help, with this person, just get me in contact with them, and I feel like that's it. Just connections goes a long way.
I agree.
No, it's 100% right. I don't know. You got any other questions, or we?
I think I feel like I've learned a ton about you. I mean,
Yeah.
if there's anything else you want to get out there, you got any shout outs you want to throw out, or any people you want to mention in this, you go ahead. I'll let you have the opportunity to do that.
Sir, I feel like for me, I'm really trying to grow my own thing, like 10 Talk. I feel like I've had a lot of kids, hit me up asking me for advice and stuff. Like 10 Talk is a really big one, and I got a tatted on my ankle. But it's like I kind of made it as at first I made it for myself, mentality for myself. But now I want to really to grow for other people, because people have asked me what it means, and so I really want to take it as, just like I said, the dog mentality. Waking up every day. Sometimes I wake up, I sit on my edge of my bed for 10 minutes and think about what I want to do for the next 10, 20 years. How am I going to help change the next generations? I feel like 10 Talk, I want people to really, really feel what they're doing and their purpose. I feel huge on, self-motivation. I feel that's what it really is. 10 Talk is, I myself am not gonna have. I don't need everybody outside of me. I just need myself because it's my own mentality. I'm gonna work until I can't work anymore. Even if I make $1 billion right now, even if I make another $1 million right now, I'm gonna make another after I leave. After I leave, any conversations or business deals I do. And so it's kind of like on the field. Like I said, I'm gonna do what I have to do because there's no other option. I feel like it's just it's a mindset where you can't go back. It's a strong mindset of I've gotten to where I'm at, and I'm not going back. I'm gonna keep going forward. It's like taking a step every day.
No, it's huge. I'll wrap it up and then you get your thoughts in here. But no, exactly, man. It was awesome to chop it up. Just hearing you talk and it's literally everything you said. All of your points and everything we asked you, you all tied it into like the same idea and mindset through it all. And I thought that was a really cool thing through this. So you said it right there at the end. I was literally going to tell you to keep going and no matter what, because that's my thing, keep going every single day because it's going to be piece by piece. You're going to have bad days, you're going to have good days, but everything adds up together and fits that puzzle, which is our complete life. And I think that's the biggest thing some people kind of lose sight of. But you get in that at your age, man, it's huge. And your experiences and stuff you've gone through already is just building you, I think, in your character as you can see right now and all this. And best of luck going forward with the recruitment. We'll stay in touch on socials, get you on for another interview down the road once you get that decision made and all that. But best of luck with that 10 Talk. No, but that was the other thing I want to say before Bryce finishes up. Man, get on here. Do some contest stuff with that. The way you talk and the way you motivate and just get fired up about it. Even if you throw a reel on your social media or just, a little something. If you got people hitting you up and asking you out, man, give your 2 cents out to people because it's worth it.
Sure.
100%. No, I agree with everything you just said. And I'll thank you personally as well, man. You take the time out of your day before a workout to hop on here. I think it speaks to your character as well. Like I've already mentioned, that character is a big thing. Not just as an athlete, but as a human being, having good character, being a good human being. And you can get that from a 30-minute episode real quick to kind of tell what a person's like. So I'm walking away from this interview knowing that you got that same mentality that Gannon and I have kind of prided ourselves on. The last couple of years starting this podcast, we always told each other we're built different. We've always understood the fact that there's going to be people out there that don't appreciate what you do, don't like what you do, hate on what you do. Whether it's being in sports, whether it's doing a podcast, it don't matter what it is. I would just say, man, keep climbing. That ladder's it's staying right there for you. You just keep climbing on top of it. You're going to get to the top. I know it. I believe it. But yeah, best of luck, man. I know the decision. It'll come for you. It'll come when it comes, but I'll keep working, and, man, best of luck.
Yeah.
Sir, thank you. I appreciate y'all letting me on.
Yes, sir. Man. All right, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Keep tapping back in. If you are interested in an interview, just hit us up, shoot us a DM. We'd love to connect with you, learn more about you, tell your story, and continue to inspire the youth.